Looking back at the sequel trilogy, a lot of Star Wars fans were divided over the fact of what happened not just with The Last Jedi, but also with The Rise of Skywalker. And with, of course, for the past couple of years since 2019, the main focus now has been Star Wars TV shows on the Disney Plus platform. With Chapek out and Iger now in, there's a lot of changes and alterations happening behind the scenes over at Disney. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that we do know about the future of the franchise is that they are taking a lot of key elements from not just Star Wars Legends, but also some of the past existing canon material, and how they can also expand that as well across the board. Now, looking at one thing in particular are Star Wars movies. That's basically going to become the new main focus, essentially, so to speak, by Bob Iger, is the movies again. Getting these projects back into the theaters, having fans watch something all together in person, and to be honest, I like it that way. I love it that way. Now, sure, I am completely aware that tickets can be very expensive for large families especially, and that's when things get complicated. But when you look at, of course, Disney as a structure, right? It's best to actually have both ways or both formats coexist, to have both movies and TV shows, and that's exactly what Iger's plan is right now. To mainly focus on movies, but to also use Star Wars TV shows as a supplement to also cater to the people that actually do not want to go to the movies and want to stick to streaming services. And honestly, it's a pretty good business move in my book. Now, with that being said, why of course Disney is doing this, and with Disney and Lucasfilm developing a series of new Star Wars movies for the franchise now in order to shift away from only focusing on shows. However, one of the new Star Wars trilogies are now actively in the works that is set to focus on the Old Republic era. The format is said to shift back and forth throughout time, in each film focusing on a group of different characters, one of which, of course, for the first film by Disney, is set to feature Valkorion, also known as Darth Vitiate, that is set to be portrayed by no other than Keanu Reeves, becoming the new big bad of the OR trilogy. Basically, this is going to be the new Emperor of the Old Republic era. Disney is currently on a mission to try and make Darth Vitiate more sinister than Palpatine ever was in all three past trilogies. Both Favreau and Filoni will be involved in the first film as co-writers, and have already created a handful of notes that have been handed over to Disney and finalized, many of which have been finalized already to be used in a future script of these new movies, and one of which features a fresh new take on the origin story of Darth Vitiate jumping from body to body over the years using the essence transfer technique. So let me just, kind of give you guys a little bit more information on this. This was actually told to us, by the way, in Legends, and it is something that is quite sinister. When you look at Darth Vitiate, the reason why he has lived for so very long in Legends is that he was able to use the power that Palpatine did in between episodes 6 and 7. The essence transfer technique, it's basically your spirit exiting your body and going into another one. And he was doing this over and over and over again for hundreds of years. And Palpatine did this once in the official canon. Alright, that's why we have a clone body of him in episode 9. And it's not the original body, but it is the same Palpatine in spirit. Let's just be clear about that. So, it is a very interesting take. Now, I know a lot of fans have been calling for Keanu Reeves to portray Darth Revan, which is not happening as of right now. Favreau and Filoni, along with the Disney board and Iger, have all eyes on him becoming the new big bad, Darth Vitiate. Basically, like I said before, the equivalent of the Emperor in the Old Republic era, or the Knights of the Old Republic era. Like I said, this new trilogy is said to bounce back and forth between different moments in time. You have different portions, by the way, of the Old Republic. It spans multiple years, and They want to focus on groups of different characters in different years and how their stories collide in different points in time. It's a very interesting format that Disney is trying to create and establish and to make something very unique and original in the Star Wars universe that we have never seen before. So, on top of this too, we already know that everything related to that, of course, alright, John and Dave are on a roll to showing fans what sinister powers Vitiate has used for hundreds of years in order to live on forever, and are set to make it canon that Palpatine was inspired by Vitiate's use of this technique to live forever in order to tie things in with the sequels, and why he himself used the essence transfer power. Now, Reeves has already had multiple phone calls with Lucasfilm about his involvement, and they are planning to begin filming with him once he finishes the John Wick Chapter 5 film. In the meantime, a script is now beginning by early of 2023. So the beginning of 2023 is when they want to get this script started, and they're already on the hunt for a main writer to take the helm of the OR trilogy. Alright, so we're going to be learning a lot more about this at Celebration 2 or D23, one of those events next year. It's going to be a big deal. The other thing that I absolutely want to touch on that's very important is that we already discussed of how the OR trilogy is going to be a thing. In fact, Kathleen Kennedy even admitted in the very beginning, I think it was like 2017, where she herself said that they talk about this every single day. There was a time when Kennedy was going to create her own version of the Old Republic. It was getting close to production. Disney shot it down because she changed way too many things. She flipped some of the characters. It would have created another big backlash. So she's not going to be involved with these movies. It's going to strictly be Favreau and Filoni co-writing at least the first film, and a new main writer mainly writing the first movie. Now, that really is all up to, of course, who Disney hires, who they get to actually write these new films and take it in a totally new direction for the fans, right? So overall, on top of this too, we also know that the Old Republic as an era, it's basically the medieval times of Star Wars. That's how I look at it, that's how a lot of other fans look at it, and that's what they're going for. They are planning on mixing two tones together. The tone that you see in Lord of the Rings and the tone of Star Wars combined. That's what they are planning to do with the Old Republic. Now, that's not to say that they're going to be copying Lord of the Rings storylines. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about tone, cinematography, stuff like that. It's going to have that aesthetic, if you will, when it comes to Star Wars, and I like that. So, we have a lot of darker and grittier Star Wars projects on the horizon. One of which is going to be, unfortunately, the Acolyte, but story-wise, I don't think it's going to work, because it's mainly a Kathleen Kennedy-led project, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, there's no footage out. We gotta wait until footage comes out to really 100% be sure about that. And even if that, you have to wait till the actual show even arrives on Disney Plus to give it a good judgment call. But anyways, on top of this, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night.